Welcome to the full match where I played against the best player at Ashford, Charlie Gotke. And I debated whether to do a voiceover for this video because it's 20 minutes long. And I don't know how I'm going to speak for 20 minutes while the background is playing. But I'm going to try. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about this channel, a little bit about my journey in paddle so far, and things like that. Basically, you're going to get my whole life story while the match is playing in the background. So hopefully this is a bit more interesting if I just left it without the voiceover. But if you just wanted the raw audio next time, then let me know in the comments and I'll do that. So where do we begin? I've started playing paddle. By the way, this is me about to return this shot here, so you know who I'm talking about. And that's Charlie. So yeah, I started playing paddle around 4 months ago now, 4 or 5 months, maybe a bit less. The less I say, the more impressive it sounds. So I'm going to go for 4 months. I work down at Finsbury Paddle Club, and basically I just tried it out one time and I absolutely fell in love with it. As I think there's going to be a lot of that. I'm not going to cut any of this out, by the way. There's going to be a lot of stuttering in this, so you're just going to have to allow it, yeah? I started playing 4 months ago down at my local club in Finsbury, and now I work there. And basically, as soon as I started playing, I fell in love. I don't know if any of you can relate watching this video, but apparently it's one of the fastest growing sports in the country right now, and everyone's raving about it. And I didn't understand why until I tried it, and now I understand. And now all I think about every day is paddle. All I do when I wake up, by the way, my partner tagged me right there, right in the face. All I do when I wake up is think about my next match. So I came from a tennis background. I played tennis for 8 years. I started when I was 12 all the way up until I was like 19, 20 years old. I played tennis to a decent level. So when I transitioned to paddle, I already had the racket skills required to become a decent player. So it really helped me. Yeah, let me know if you've come from a tennis background in the comments or if you come from a racket sports background. But I found that obviously the volleys and the smashes, everything was much more comfortable for me than if I'd never picked up a racket in my life, and paddle was my first racket sport. And that is why I decided to do the foolish thing of challenging the best player at Ashford right here in this match. And as you'll see in this video, I actually do pretty well, but I'm not going to reveal the score. You're going to have to watch all the way to the end, baby. So yeah, I started 4 months ago, and here it's really cool actually, because I used to play tennis with like these people on the court. So my partner is Will. I used to play tennis with him back at Maidstone, and James, who's partnering Charlie. I used to play tennis with him a lot as well. So it's kind of, we've got a little reunion going now, which is kind of cool, because I haven't really seen these boys in a while. And I picked up paddle, and now we're playing all the time. So it's cool in that sense. But yeah, the reason why I love paddle is I just find it so interesting. The way the balls come off the glass, you have to react, you have to think about where the ball's going, you know? I find it much more interesting than playing tennis now, and it's hard for me to say that because obviously tennis was my big sport growing up, but I'm now officially a converted tennis player, if you could call it that. But the good thing about paddle is it suits my game much more, because when I played tennis, all I did was not all I did, but my best shots in tennis were my volleys and my backhand slice, and I came into the net. I was a net player, you know. I wasn't really an aggressive baseliner. So coming to paddle, it really suited my game much more, because in paddle, it's all about placement and tactics and moving the ball around and building the point and playing a bit slower. And that really suits my game much more. Obviously, volleys are very important. Getting to the net is important. So moving from tennis to paddle was super, super fun for me. And it really suited my game style. Like, I serve backhand, and my best shot in tennis was my backhand slice. And you'll see in this video, all I do is serve backhand slice. So, and my serve is one of my best shots as well in paddle. So it's kind of cool. There's the backhand slice. Just talking about it, and I pull that out. Look at the timing of that. That is fate. Yeah. So you better like the video after that. As you can see here, I'm playing slower smashes. One thing I'm learning coming from tennis is the slow overheads, the spinny overheads are much more effective than big flat smashes down the middle. And that is one of the big things that I had to adapt coming from tennis. Was when I first started playing paddle coming from tennis, I literally hit every smash really hard down the middle as if I was playing tennis, right? And then after a while, it started working against like the beginner people at my club. So I thought, oh, this is the way forward. And then after a bit of time when I started leveling up in paddle and I started playing better people, they would just get every single one of my smashes back. And I was thinking, oh, I've just set them up for an easy winner now. Because if you hit a big smash down the middle, big bounce off the glass and they're at the net, good players are at the net and they just punish you for it. So you have to learn. Look, right there, Charlie does a great example of that. Wasn't a huge smash, but it had a lot of spin down the middle. You'll see it wasn't that fast, but it had a load of spin, and that is causing much more trouble than a big one, flat one down the middle, where it just bounces up for us. But yeah, that's one of the main things I had to learn. One of the big differences from tennis and paddle is just you have to play a bit slow. You have to build the point. It's a bit more. Oh, that's a great shot there. Wow. Yeah, it's much more like chess. You have to kind of move your opponents around, find the space, build the point with shots to the cage, angle shots to the cage, so you can finish the point with either a big smash or a pop out or something like that, or a nice place volley. This is a good rally right here. That's a lovely pickup. But yeah, that is the key difference between tennis and paddle. Because in tennis, you know, most of the time it's obviously you have to think about, there's a lot of tactics in tennis as well, but mainly it's just hitting from the back and then, you know, going for big shots and trying to hit winners really and not miss. Whereas here it's much more about slow, like calculated shots. Great, that's a great shot there by Charlie. Calculated shots to build the point. And that's why I like it much more, because I feel like I'm thinking on the court more. You know, I like sports where I have to think. You know, it's not just bang, bang, bang. And I struggled in tennis from just keeping up with these people from the baseline. Another key difference from paddle and tennis is the serve. In paddle, the serve doesn't really, you know, it's not really a winning shot, whereas the serve in tennis is so important. If you didn't have a good serve in tennis or a big serve, then, you know, you're not going to become a super, super good player. Serve is so important. But in this game, you know, the serve isn't really that important. It is important to some degree, but it's not as important. So I also like that, because I was just in tennis, you know, if I came up against a 6'7" server who just served aces all the time, I just couldn't win the match. Whereas here, that kind of takes it out of it a little bit. That being said, you know, if you are tall like Charlie is here in this match, you do have some advantages in the fact that lobs are important in paddle, and if you lob someone who's 6'6" or whatever, however tall he is, I don't know, you might not be that tall. I might give him a big compliment there, mate. You're like 6'2" max. But yeah, if you lob a tall player, like I do there, sometimes it's not gonna be effective, because they can just pop the ball out or kick the ball out of the court. So there is advantages being tall, like there is in tennis. But yeah, I really, really much prefer paddle now. I'm fully converted. All I do is think about paddle. I wake up and think, how can I win my next paddle match? And I'm also looking to get into coaching soon, which would be super fun as well. And I like playing in some tournaments. I played in a tournament recently in my local club, and we got all the way to the final. Not me and my partner here, but me and another partner. And I'm loving competing again, you know. I used to compete in tennis tournaments. One thing I also do prefer about paddle over tennis is I used to play tennis tournaments singles mainly. And the stress of playing singles tournaments is just, I used to get so frustrated on the court. Whereas here, you know, it's doubles, you have someone next to you, you feel like you're going into battle together. And I much prefer that to playing singles. So that's another reason why I like paddle over tennis. By the way, I still love tennis. You know, this is not like I'm not trying to say paddle's better. I'm just saying my journey and how I've come from tennis, and comparing the two is quite interesting. So leave your thoughts in the comments, and let me know if you prefer tennis or paddle, and let me know, you know, what your thoughts are about converting to paddle from tennis, etc., etc. But yeah, this was the first time I went to Square One Ashford. This is where we're playing right here. It's an indoor venue, and it's one of the best in the country. In fact, it actually might be the best in the country, because the facilities, when I walked through the doors of this place, I was blown away. It has everything you could ever need as a paddle player and a fitness enthusiast in general. It has a gym upstairs and downstairs. It has an ice bath. It has a sauna. It has, you know, a studio is coming. It has a golf simulator that's coming. It has 7 courts. And these courts, right, we're playing on here are the ones where, like, tournament standard, I think, where you can run out the side. You see to the left and right, you can actually run out the side of these courts. So in most clubs, if there's not enough space on the outside of the court. You're not allowed to run out and like do those fancy trick shots that you see on the tour, right? But you can on these courts. I'm not saying I do any of that in this video, because I definitely don't. I'm not there yet, but you still have the opportunity to. And also playing indoors is super fun as well, because there's no wind, there's no sun in your eyes, so you know, it allows you to play your best paddle, I think, without elements affecting your play. Although I do love playing outside obviously as well when it's sunny. But yeah, these courts are super nice, they're super well maintained. The whole vibe of this club is really nice. So if you haven't been to Square One Ashford and you love paddle, I would definitely recommend coming and checking it out. Even if you just come with your mates for a game, there's also a singles court here. So if you only have 2 people, you can book the singles court just to come and see the club and have a little hit. So that's actually a good thing that a lot of clubs don't have, is a singles court. That was really cool about it. But yeah, I definitely recommend coming down. What a block for me there. Let's get a round of applause in the comments for that. But yeah, definitely recommend coming to Square One Ashford. It is super fun. And also, there's a lot of good players here, so I can get a good level match here. But yeah, obviously I'm having fun on the court right there. And I'm loving filming these matches as well, because I like looking back and, you know, seeing my technique. You know, I'm always trying to improve. So filming these videos and then looking back is making me realise that I'm doing things not wrong, but I'm doing things not as effectively as I could be. And you only realise that, I found, when you look back at yourself play. So that's a little tip for you. If you're trying to get better, then just film your videos and record them and have a look back and just see what you could be doing better tactically and technique wise. And you know, that's a good way to improve, in my opinion. So that's why I like posting. And also it's just good for the memories, because I remember every single one of these points very clearly, and in a few years I can look back and just watch this video and remember it. So that's pretty cool as well. Oh, he's almost made that. Like, both me and my partner switched off there, and he's almost pulled off the unthinkable. But yeah, I'm going to cut this voice over here to let you watch the second set in full to see if we can manage to pull this one back, because we did lose the first set here. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. If you do, then leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because there's plenty more where this has come from. Well, that's just not the right saying. There's plenty more paddle, yeah? So you should follow me and subscribe and like the video and comment so you never miss another video. And I'll see you in the next one.